Okay, good morning to each and every one of you. I'm very, very happy to see each one of you here today for this wonderful groundbreaking ceremony for Heritage Senior Center, which will, when completed, will be the site of our new home. I'd like to introduce myself to those of you who don't know me. My name is Joyce Bowers, and I have the privilege of being the president of the Heritage Senior Center. We're here for the groundbreaking, but I think it's also nice to have a little bit of background. I think each of us, when we start out in life, different things upon our way determine what vocation, etc., we're going to end up with or what we're really interested in. And I personally never thought much about a senior center, but has my opinion ever been changed over these last 20 years? I'm going to tell you my personal story. I'm sure you will have stories like that of maybe of your parents and maybe your own self. As I said, I had no affiliation with senior centers, and I must admit, nor did I have any interest in being affiliated with a senior center. But my husband got ill, and in the process of his journey of his illness, he attended Heritage Senior Center. And he loved, and I mean loved, going every day. So while he was there, my son, Scott, you're here today. He came to surprise me. Where are you, Scott? Love you. He saw an advertisement that Heritage Senior Center was looking for directors to be on their board. So I applied, I was accepted, and here I am. That is 15 years ago, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I have been honored and privileged for the last 12 of my 15 years to be the board president, and truly it is an honor. There's only one sad note with today, and that is my husband couldn't be here to be a part of it. So when we do the groundbreaking, my son actually brought it up for me, the shovel that we used out back to do a lot of our work, and it's going to be a permanent part of Heritage Senior Center. So that's my story. I don't know what your story is and how you became involved with the Heritage Senior Center, but whatever it is, we're thankful you're involved. We're thankful you support us. And each one of you is a blessing to us. So I would like to continue by saying this will be, the board made the decision after costs went up of building and interest rates. We almost thought this project, we were going to forget about it. But we were determined that we would not disappoint ourselves and the members. So we went a different avenue, which means we will be building this building in phases. And phase 1 is all the site work will be completed. That means everything under the ground, and then we will stop and it will be ready to start the building, which will be phase 2. So we are hoping that the people that supported us in phase 1 will continue to support us, whether you be a member, a friend, an organization, person that gives us a grant. We are looking for your continued support so we can finish this project and have a ribbon cutting of the new building, which is back here. It's going to be a beautiful facility. It's going to be a great facility, and we're going to be able to accommodate a lot more residents of the Dover, West Manchester area, anywhere even in York County you can attend. So thank you again very, very much. And I would like to start the actual program part by introducing Pastor Eva of the Dover UCC Church. She is going to give the blessing, and then she has a part of history to share with those of you who do not know it. So, Pastor Eva.
Let me tell you, this is luxury. Let me tell you how I first experienced Southern Pennsylvania. I was in seminary, actually, and I came to be the chaplain at Cadorus State Park, and just for the summer. I lived in Cross Keys in the basement, and I worked half-time for the district of the Church of the Brethren, and half-time I was pastor or chaplain out at Cadorus State Park. And when I had worship out there, I didn't have any microphone, and I didn't have any speakers, and we had no seats. And so I would take my waste paper basket from the room and bring it out and turn it upside down, and that was my seat for worship. And I encourage campers to bring their own seats. And the nicest thing about that was, now to be a pastor, I could pick up my seat and move it closer to them. And so there was never a problem with having a front row that nobody sat in, because I could make the front row wherever I wanted it to be. Let us pause for a word of prayer. Gracious God, your sun is shining down on us today, and we thank you for your sunshine which comes to light our hearts and our lives, and especially to rest on this place this day. God, you know the dreams and the hopes, and you know the money that has been put down to make this dream a reality. And so we pray your blessing on this land. We pray your blessing on those dreams, and we pray for the money that has been given, and that it will multiply, and that this dream will indeed become a reality. A reality for the seniors of this community, a reality for those who would come and seek solace and seek help and seek just fellowship and time to enjoy each other's company. So God, we pray that you would place your blessing upon this day and upon those who will come to lead this effort in our community. We thank you for the board and for their vision, and we thank you for Emma and the staff at Heritage Senior Center, and we thank you that you, oh God, have all of this in your care. And we pray that it might be made manifest as we live and breathe and experience this time. We pray these things in your holy names. Amen. She talked about stories. Well, I started at Cadorus, but my first placement out of seminary was actually in the retirement community. And so I learned the importance of seniors from the very beginning of my ministry. One of the things I learned from the seniors that I was chaplain of was that if you had a dream, nothing was impossible. Nothing could be impossible. I saw seniors who came into that retirement center and didn't have a dream, and they didn't last very long. And I saw seniors who came into that retirement center who celebrated 75 years of marriage because they had a dream and they still had a vision, no matter how old they were. Heritage, I found out, means that there are valued objects and qualities such as traditions that are passed down from previous generations. So I think the name Heritage Senior Center is aptly named. Just 3 months ago, on March 18th, I gathered with the family of Faye Gensler on the day of her passing. Faye was one of the women in our church, along with Grace Harling and others, who said, we have to have a place for seniors to gather. We have to have a place where we can get together and we can talk and fellowship and play games and have some spiritual conversation, but we just need, and to eat together, of course, but we just need a place to gather. Well, Faye used to tell me stories about how it wasn't just good enough to have some tables and chairs put together and gather. No. She said we had to have tablecloths, and we had to have flowers, and we had to have programs. And so it went that the group began to organize at Dover United Church of Christ, and little by little they grew and they grew until they outgrew our church. And then the group moved to St. David's, and then to the Dover Township Community Building. And now we're breaking ground for an independent center. You know, the scripture reminds us that nothing is impossible through God. Nothing is impossible through God. Audrey Hepburn put it a little bit differently. She reminds us that nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. Impossible. I'm possible. But it's only possible if we do the journey together. If we recognize what part each one of us can put in to the journey, and we offer that part. None of us will have it all. Emma can't do it all without the rest of the staff. Joyce can't do it all without the rest of the board. They can't do what they do unless the senior community comes and supports them and the work that they've been given and the work that all of us have been given. So let us remember that it's only possible if we each bring what we have. Dover is proud that this ministry that was started so many years ago has blossomed into this day, and we are so thankful for everyone who has led the dream to this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor Eva. Next, I am going to have the board of directors, I consider my board of directors, who work and support everything we have attempted to do. Without them, we would not have this vision. Without their hard work, we would not. So, I'm going to begin by introducing one person, saying a little bit about that, and then I'm going to ask each of my other directors to please walk the few steps up here, introduce yourself, and say a few words. They don't know this. The person that I am going to address and introduce, and I'm going to ask to speak first, is Jay Mummert. Jay and I go to the same church. We've gone to the same church for years. And many years ago, I needed more directors on the board. So one day I approached Jay at church, after church, and asked him if he would consider becoming a director at the Heritage Senior Center. Jay told me he would think about it. He did. I was wondering, is he going to say yes? Is he going to say no? Please say yes. And he said yes. And I have been so thankful ever since. Jay is an asset. Jay serves as my vice president. And he also has taken it upon himself to spearhead our fundraising. He does a great job. So I'm going to tell each and every one of you, make sure you hold on to your pockets, because Jay's going to try and get some money from you. Jay?
Thanks. Thank you. Yes, it's been a real honor to be vice president of Heritage Senior Center. I've enjoyed it a lot. I find when some of the older people who I don't know come in and sit down and want to talk, and it's a real joy for me. And most of the co-directors, along with myself, it's been a joy too. I've learned a lot from them, and I learned a lot from Mrs. Bowers, and so it's a real joy working with all of you. And I'd like you to know it means a lot to us when you help us financially to support the center, because we have a lot of things planned for the future, for your future. So again, thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, Joe. I do think, Bob, just because you're the other officer, you should be next. And then do not be shy. Just come up and introduce yourself.
Good morning. I am Bob Bookwalter, and I serve as the secretary for the Heritage Senior Center. My only thing that I want to pass along is my thanks to all of you who made the effort to be here today and show your support for our cause. Beyond that, I want to make sure that it's noticed or recognized. Joyce, our president, and Emma, our our director, really deserve a round of applause because they have been the key to make this all happen, and I appreciate that. So, yeah.
I'm Rosemary Seifert. I've been on the board for over 10 years. It's been my privilege. I want to thank all the members that are here. Every dollar you have contributed has gone into a big pot and has just kept accumulated. So thank you for every dollar you have contributed from your senior life. We know it's sacrificial. And thank you very much to the corporations, the organizations, the local businesses, some are here, that have contributed to our fund. We hope you will continue to do so. And I just want to remind you that there will be plaques in our finished building foyer for sizable contributions, 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000. We will recognize your significant contributions to finishing up our building. And we need that money more than ever because of rising building costs. So please consider giving us a sizable donation, and we will recognize you permanently on plaques in our foyer of our new building. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Larry Albright. Jay Mulmer is my brother-in-law. That's how I ended up on the board. He called me up one day and told me there was an opening. And he said he thought he had an opportunity for me. So I've been on the board a little over a year. Some of my responsibilities, I'm on the trip committee. We plan 2 trips a year at the senior center for our seniors and their families. And then the other thing I'm responsible for, I'm taking the lead on fundraising. And we've been very fortunate that a very generous family here in Dover donated the land, Mr. Ziegler, and then with donations and corporate sponsors and stuff, we were able to raise enough money to have 1/3 of the money we need for the building. The only way this building is going to get completed with local, state, and federal help on grants and stuff, and we're going to need individual and corporate donations. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm going to get you for this.
Unfortunately, you couldn't hear Sandy very well. Is it on now? Okay. But she had great words to say, and she's going to get me later. Okay, next. You're hoping.
Hello, I'm Sandy Bamberger. I've been on the board probably about 4 years, and it's an honor to be on the board. I like meeting the people and working with the other board members. So thank you. I'm not much of a speaker. Thank you very much.
Hi. My name's Fran Bodner, and I've been on the board 4 years, maybe going on 5. But it has been a pleasure being on the board and working with these people. And everything that Rosemary said, I can't say anything better. And I'm just glad that we're here and we're going to get this building up. Thank you very much.
Well, good morning. Good morning. I was a senior rep. I started at the senior center after my wife was still working. So I didn't have anything to do, so I went to the senior center and started volunteering, wound up being the male senior rep, and I spent years at doing that, and then all of a sudden there was an opening on the board, and Dick Bear came after me and says, "You should be on the board." So I said, "Okay, I'll do it." So I wound up being on the board. I appreciate all the funds that are donated by all the members, and I hope that we can continue to finish this building so that I can see it before I'm not here anymore. So take care, and we'll see you later.
Thank you to my board members. I don't think that was too hard on you, but you can tell me at the next board meeting. Next, I would like to introduce Emma Crossley, who is our director at the Senior Center. Emma, I take into consideration, like, she guides our ship. She keeps it on the right path. We aren't sinking. We're just going straight forward. I have been blessed. I had another director that I worked with, but I now have Emma. And working with Emma is a pleasure. Our communication is great. She keeps me informed of all pertinent things at the center. And I can honestly say that there's very few days in the week that I don't have an email from the center. Sometimes, if it's a good day, I get 3 or 4, because that means there's more issues or things. But Emma and the rest of our staff, who can't be here because they have to be open there today, which we want them to be, but Emma definitely had to need to be here because she is very much plays a great, outstanding role at the Senior Center. And the board, we thank you very much, Emma.
Hello, I'm Emma Crossley, and I've been the executive director here for over 13 years. I guess in October it'll be 14. We've come a long way from serving about 18 people to serving about 90 a day, just for lunch. And I want to make sure we have much gratitude, number one, to Dover Township, who's been providing our space all this time. And we couldn't do this without their support. Laurel is here, and we're really, really appreciative of all the, Mr. Par 3, I can't see because of the sun is getting to me. But I also want to thank the members, and I want to thank York County, who supports all the senior centers, the 14 in York County. Mark and Doug and whoever I can't, all the dignitaries. Yes. Claire, there's just a big sun glare on me. And Mr. Ziegler over there, we appreciate him for all of his donations, the beautiful land, and his sister Charlotte, who are our biggest supporters. So, thank you, and it's your opportunity to get in on the ground floor. Thanks, Emma.
I might say Emma didn't know either. Just thought it would be the best way. I wanted you to hear words out of their own mouths. Since it is the ground breaking, there's one other person before I get to the person that made this all possible where we are standing. And I would like to introduce Seth Grove. He's our state representative. Seth and the Senior Center have a long relationship together. Over the years I've been affiliated with the Senior Center, Seth comes up. He tries to participate in the programs when he can, based on his work schedule. He has always been extra supportive of our center. We appreciate everything he has done for us over the years. His office also sends staff to the center at different times to help out seniors with questions, new programs, insurance, things like that when they come up. So again, and most of all, the seniors love when Seth comes up and we bowls with them. So that being said, Seth.
Thank you, Joyce. They let me win now and then. ever so often, I feel as though they're like, oh yeah, Willie's like, no. It's great. I love visiting the senior center. It's a great place. It's a wonderful opportunity for seniors to get together, socialize, and we know that socialize makes happy, healthy, longer lives. So we appreciate the senior center. Again, Dover Township, thank you for your support of the senior center over the years. It's been wonderful. I know you're continuing to be a partner with that. Our county commissioners are here. Mr. Shea of the county, thank you for your continued support of our senior centers. We know it's important to you as well. And to the rest of the community for coming out and enjoying this beautiful day. Feels like summer finally after some maybe some colder weather, some nicer weather, but it's an honor to be here. We're really excited for this opportunity. Obviously having the senior center have their own accommodations to continue to serve the community. And you heard time and time again how important and how close this community is. It's a working relationship between the township, the county, the state, and the total community. So we want to continue to make sure that is prevalent. We want to make sure we continue to be a good partner, and we want to make sure that the seniors continue to defeat me every chance they get in Wii Bowling, because it's fun and I enjoy it. And funny, I brought my daughter here today. She asked when we're building this house. And I explained it's for seniors, and she asked me when I'm joining. So it's a good time. Thanks for joining me, honey. But thank you so much for having me. I look forward to working with the board and the community to continue this project. And we're all excited about it, and we can't wait to see how wonderful it is and the excitement of all those members when this is completely completed. So thank you for having me. It's an honor to join you today.
Okay, next we have one important gentleman who's sitting back there in the car. But before I get to him, I'm going to introduce another gentleman because he was part of the chronological stepping stone to this occurring today. And that is Mr. David Leader. There was a time when Heritage Senior Center and the retirement home at Providence Place, we had talks about maybe we could build up there on a piece of their land. They were good talks. It enabled us to get to know the Leaders and the Leader family much better. A lot of good came out of that. Unfortunately, it didn't work for either one of us, and that's been fine. But the big thing is Mr. Leader has never wavered in his support of the Heritage Senior Center. He has been most supportive of us over the years. He has given us generous donations, and we look forward to having that relationship moving forward. And when our building is finally complete, that we can do some activities between the home up there and our senior center. So, Mr. Leader, if you would like to say a few words, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction, and I have to say we couldn't be happier that you've gotten to this groundbreaking. The Heritage Senior Center has been a wonderful part of the community. We're happy to partner with them, and we wish you speedy success with your construction project, and we look forward to a long relationship. Thanks so much.
You're so welcome. Now we come to the gentleman of the hour. And that would be Mr. Donald Ziegler up there. I don't know if he's going to step out or not. He is very supportive of the Heritage Senior Center. He believes exceptionally amount in our vision we have. Thank you. And the very ground that you are standing on, the ground that we will one day see the building rise, Mr. Ziegler very graciously donated this land to the Heritage Senior Center. So let me tell you, that cost of real estate was really great. So it's a blessing to have him in our life. And he and his sister, Charlotte, have been very big supporters. But again, we cannot thank Mr. Donald Ziegler enough for donating this land to us. So let's give him a big round. Okay. Next, I don't know all these. I've been told they're all here. So I'm going to do with the one that I know and the one that Jay knows, since he made this contact. He made some contacts for people and I made other ones. And that would be Mr. Doug Hoke. He's one of the county commissioners here. Doug, I know him because he's been up at our center for many of our different functions we've had over the years. It's a pleasure to have him participate. We always like when he comes to the center and can be a part of whatever we're having. So I would like Doug to come up now and say a few words, and then if he would introduce the other commissioners that are with him today. I think I'm losing my voice. And they could say a few words. Thank you.
Commissioner Wheeler and Commissioner Smith with me, and I just want to thank you for all you do for Dover community. Many of you know I was a Dover resident for many years, lived on South Salem Church Road. I recently moved into the city, but my heart's still out here in this community. I do try to go to all the events that I possibly can get to. I know my fellow commissioners have also. So this is a great project. When Jay first called me and talked to me about it, I said, put me on my list, and I now want to see a list of what we can contribute to some different possibilities in the building that you're, coming about with. The donation of land is absolutely great. I'm not having that cost burden on top of this community. So I wish you much success. I'll continue to be a big supporter, and maybe someday, as a senior myself of 71 years, I appreciate what you do. So thank you very much. And I'll let my fellow commissioners say a word.
Thank you.
Go ahead. We're done. If they want.
Introduce yourself, please.
Good morning. I'm Ron Smith, as Doug said, one of the county commissioners. And it does my heart good to be up here in Dover. As I come here today, I didn't realize that I was going to see some family up here that utilize the current senior center. My brother-in-law's mother and his sister are here today, so thank you, Mary and Sis, for being here. But as I have always said, senior citizens are one of our most precious resources in this country as well as in this county. And for a project like this to move forward and get it done, I am very much appreciative of all those that are involved, Mr. Ziegler for his donation, and the rest of you for the hard work that you are taking to make this project become a significant reality in the near future. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for doing this, and God bless all of you.
I'll just echo what Commissioner Smith and Commissioner Hoke said. We're certainly delighted to be here. I was blessed for a long time in my life to have 3 grandparents, and while they didn't benefit from the senior center up here, they did with the ones down in the southern part of our county and over in the Hanover area. So older adults are a vital part of our community, and I just think it's great that Dover is doing this and expanding the center for the residents here. I just want to also acknowledge Mark Shea is here from the Area Agency on Aging. He's hiding over there. Many of you probably know Mark works a lot with all the senior centers, and Claire Dahl, who's hiding over here, he is the director of our Human Services, and the Department of the Area for Agency on Aging falls under Claire. Those 2 gentlemen are very passionate about taking care of the older adults in our community. So I just want to call them out and commend them for their efforts in that endeavor. So, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to each one of you. Okay.
Very proud of you.
Bye. That's fine.
Okay.
So I don't go around kissing all strange gentlemen. That's my son Scott, and he has to leave. Next, I would like to introduce Laurel Oswald, the Dover Township's manager. If she would come up, she can introduce herself again and say a few words.
Hello. I too was not really aware that I was going to be asked to speak today. So I will just say that we've had the pleasure of having the Heritage community as part of our community in our building, and they have been vital in many ways in helping to maintain the facility, as well as providing for the community as a whole for the seniors. In fact, just recently we had a situation where if it weren't for Emma, we wouldn't have been able to help a gentleman who was injured in a state park. She was a vital resource to getting us some information for him. He was an elderly gentleman that helps actually maintain the Appalachian Trail, and one of the DCNR higher-ups had reached out to Mike Cashman, one of our township supervisors, and asked for some assistance for this gentleman who injured himself on the trail while trying to maintain it, and he was over 90 years old. And not having a lot of knowledge about senior help in the community myself, I turned to Emma as our resource, and she was very helpful for that, and that gentleman got assistance because she was able to provide me with the contacts. So we have a very good working relationship with the center, and we hope to continue that. And we're very blessed to have you here and have such an active part in our community. So I think the supervisors would join me in thanking you for that. We had a very small role in this. We did help participate in helping the land get transferred to the senior center from Mr. Ziegler without any cost for the actual background taxes and things like that. So that was a role that we played. It was actually transferred to us and then transferred to the senior center, which is allowable. If he had transferred it directly, there would have been some back taxes owed. So we played a part in that. And beyond that, we have just tried to be supportive of their growth opportunity that they have here. So thank you, and we look forward to you continuing with this project.
Thank you. I must admit, what she said is true, and some of you may think, oh, I didn't like that she did that, but I have never done a groundbreaking, and I worked hours last night on how I wanted to do this, how I thought I should do it, who I thought should really speak, and I thought it was only applicable that I would introduce some groups of people and ask them to say a few words, and I'm most appreciative that all of you did, but I think most of you are used to speaking in front of people other than my board of director members. Laurel and I really don't know her personally. We have, all our conversing has been by emails over the years, but I've always been appreciative for anything that I've asked, any questions or things. She's been most helpful, so I thank her for that. Next, I would like to recognize the Dover Township Supervisors, and Mr. Steve Parthry is here. I would like him to come up and say a few words. He is the liaison between the township and the senior center. But before that, I want to say we, the Heritage Senior Center, on behalf of the board and all the members, are most appreciative to Dover Township for what they have done for us over the years. If it would not be for your generous and very inexpensive rent to have our center there, we would not have survived. We look forward to your continued support moving forward. And again, we thank you, a great big thank you, for everything you have done for us thus far. And if there's anybody else that's here.
Thank you, Joyce. On behalf of the board, which I'm simply, as Joyce has mentioned, the liaison to the senior center, we are happy that this is happening. We support the Heritage Senior Center 100%. We feel that they're a big, big asset to the community of Dover. Thank you for everyone who came. Thank you for your support. Don, thank you for all you've done. It's been a pleasure working with you. Jay, it's been a pleasure working with you. Continued success with this building. Thank you.
Okay, would you ask the
Oh,
other
I'm
one?
sorry. We have supervisors here. We have Chuck Richards and we have Steve Stefanovich. Couldn't make it, Rob Stone and Mike Cashman. The board is 100% behind this effort, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Did either of the rest that are here want to say anything or not? Okay. Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Claire Dahl, who is, as Laura had pointed out, he is the director of York County Human Services Department. I met Claire at a meeting of senior center directors and a board member that we had up, actually hosted it at Dover. So what I know and what I have learned about Mr. Dahl is that he does advocate strongly for seniors. I like that he listens to their needs. He tries to give them guidance, and he most definitely gives them support. So on behalf of the board, I would like to thank Mr. Claire Dahl, and I would like to ask him if he would like to say a few words.
Good morning. So, I echo everything that the others have said. This is very exciting, for how, to hear about the progression of where you started to where you're at now. So I can't wait to see this when it's finished. I do want to just a special shout out to Mark Shea. So I've been in this position for a little over a year. He is kind of the guiding light here for me on, the different ways that we support senior centers, the different activities. I can tell you that he's very passionate, and we're very lucky to have him as our director of aging. So thank you, Mark. Thank you. And again, very excited. This is good stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, well, it's about time we introduce the man that's been mentioned twice by people, and that's Mark Shea, who is the director of the York YCAAA. Mark, I have known for years, ever since I've been affiliated, and especially since I became president. Shared many a meeting with Mark. And Mark is the same as Mr. Dahl. He strongly advocates for senior centers. He has our best interests at heart, and he tries to stay in contact with the state and tries to figure out, is there any way we can get any more monies? So for our past relationship, and we hope our continued relationship moving forward is as good as it has been in the past. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Is it hot, or is it just me? It's hot. Look, I work with 14 senior centers in York County, and the one thing I can point out about Heritage, it's truly a community center. The community works together to support it. The seniors that come to it believe in it. It's a good center, and this is only going to make it better. And I can't wait until this is done. And I've been coming out to the center before it was this center. It's for a long time. So congratulations. Thank you very much for your generous donation. And it's hot, Joyce.
I agree, Mark. It is hot. I don't like heat. I would like to introduce, I think I saw him come. Yep. Nick Drosbach. I hope I didn't mess up your name. He is with Core Design. He is the project architect. He would be the creator of somewhat. So I really want to ask him to come and say a few words to us. I must say that Jay and I both have learned so much attempting to spearhead this project. I had no idea of all the work behind the scenes, permits, all the regulations, dealing with all the different people you have to, learning about what needs to be under the ground. It at times was mind-boggling, but Nick never refused to answer our questions. He was always there for us, and we are most appreciative. Nick?
Thank you, Joyce. Jay, I don't know where Jay went.
Right there.
There he is. Good to see you, Jay. Good to see Mr. Ziegler. We appreciate being invited to this. It's been a long time coming. I thought you might make me say something, so I did a little bit of research this morning at the office, and I found some plans of the initial concept here, which was presented to Joyce and Jay and the rest of the directors almost 6 years ago to the day. It was June 16th, 2016.
Wow.
So you know, a lot has happened in between there. We've switched sites, as you've mentioned before. We've worked through a lot of iterations where it was 1 floor, 2 floors. We have to deal with this hill here, and so we're very excited for this to break ground. It's one of the jobs that when I came to Core Design Group 8 years ago, I've been working on this for 6. Yes. So it's one of the longest jobs I've had. It's one of the oldest files in my folders right now. And it's great to dust it off and get this started. We're looking forward to seeing it come out of the ground. And I go down this road all the time. So I'm gonna enjoy it every time I go past.
Okay.
Thank you
so much for being here. I can definitely say, like, people like Nick, they have made our job easier. And like I said, for not knowing anything about building and all the requirements, I've learned more than I ever will need to know. And I hope I don't have another project like this, but it is one that I am truly, truly so excited about. Is Mr. Quiche here? Did Mr. Quiche get here? Okay. All right. That was another name. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody that has had a part. Is there anybody here? I have one other person I want to recognize, but is there anybody else here that I did not know of that would like to say a few words? Okay. The last person, but last, you remember what the Bible said, ye who are last shall be first. So, that being said, it does not mean because he's last, he's the least important, because he's not. And that would be Jeff Firestone. He is the owner and operator of J.A. Firestone Construction Company in Dover. And just as this day turned out to be beautiful, and like a week and a half ago when I started looking at the weather, was concerned it would be rainy, God blessed us with this beautiful day, and I am very thankful. Maybe hot, but we don't have rain. Jeff is in that same thing. We had gotten updated cost, etc. Jay and I took it back to the board, and I can honestly say, 12 years being president, I never saw my board look so dejected, so defeated. The numbers were astronomical. We did not see how we could afford to do this project. There were some board members who actually said, let's come up, we just can't go ahead. But we were introduced to Jeff Firestone, and trust me, like a ray of sunshine, Jeff walked into our lives. Jay met him first, then he met with Jay and I. We liked what he had to say. What he said all made sense. In addition, prices were better. So I invited him to come to the board and do the presentation. He came to our next board meeting, did the presentation, and I could I generally stand, I could stand there and look at my board members' faces, and I could see the biggest difference. There were smiles, there was, oh, I like what he has to say. You could just imagine all these things. And it was like a breath of fresh air. So much so that we then decided that, yes, we wanted to move forward. We would do the building in phases so the senior center did not incur a debt at one time. So the Lord willing, nothing goes astray. We don't have unforeseen cost. We should be able to do this site development and come out with little, if any, debt, while raising funds to do phase 2, which is put the building up, this beautiful building. So, that being said, I would like if Jeff would just come up and say a few words. And my thought regarding Jeff is, yes, miracles do happen. Jeff.
I'd just like to thank Mrs. Bowers for those kind words. Kind of wish my wife was here to hear them. But again, I come from Dover. I was raised in Dover. This is just a great opportunity for the Heritage Center, for me and my company to give back to the community. And I'm really looking forward to working with everybody involved in this project. It's truly a blessing. So thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, so Last but you're not least, if anybody has any family members here, my son had to leave because he has to do therapy. Anybody here that is a member, family member of one of the board people, etc., can you raise your hand? I know Joyce is hiding under the other barrel. That's Jay's wife. Okay. I appreciate you, and I know the board does, you being here. Any friends of the Senior Center, we thank you for being here. And most importantly of all, we thank any of our members that are here. In closing, before we do the groundbreaking, we do have 15 shovels. So I would like Jay to have a shovel. I would like the people that, Mark, Mr. Dahl, Mr. Leader, Seth, Steve from the Dover Township Commissioners, Doug from the York County Commissioners, to break ground with us. And please to know that this does not mean that we're done with this project. We are only starting it. Baby steps, and I actually consider this a big step. And from the bottom of my heart personally, I am so grateful that this center is going to materialize and be something that we can all enjoy. Before we do the groundbreaking, I have two other people that I want to recognize. It's hard to get publicity. We submitted it to newspapers, to the television stations. You have to do everything. I even called them. You have to do it by, they preferences, email. They told me they decide the morning of where they're going to come. So they decided apparently they weren't coming. So that's okay. But we have, and I'm going to introduce the female first because that's the way I was raised. Jaren Flickinger back there. She is recording, taking pictures. We thank her so much. Lou Wallace here on the ground. He has all the sound, etc. Also, a big thank you to Jeff for having the generator here that we can use it. I need you to know that both Jaren and Lou are from Jay and myself's church, Shiloh UCC. And I thank, and yeah, your church also. And we thank them very much because it was the last week, the last couple days that we asked because we were frantic. We didn't know what to do. So I saying a great big thank you for helping us out. And I'm glad I know both of you and you could be here to help us. So thank you. Let's give them a big round for everybody. In closing, before we do the groundbreaking, if you're in the area and you have never been to Heritage Senior Center, stop in someday up at the Fair Hall, see our facility, see what we're all about, see what we have to offer, and partake of a meal with us. And again, a big thank you to everybody who in the past has donated to us. We ask your continued support so you actually one day can see this building on this piece of land. So I thank everyone who took time out of their day to be here to make this a successful day for us. So the people that I mentioned, we have 15 shovels. If you would come up and we can go over there and do the actual shoveling. Thank you. As I told the board yesterday at our meeting, I try my best. I'm a novice at this. It may be different than other ones you've been at, but I think it fits our occasion, it fits our center. So thank you again. Come and get a shovel. And I would ask that if you don't get a shovel, that you would wait, because when they're done, I would especially like to make sure that each one of our board gets to shovel, and anybody else who would like to shovel may. Pastor Eva, I'd like you to have one. Emma, shovel.